Hey everyone, I am so excited to have Heather Crosby here. She is an amazing author, a dear friend. She's created a beautiful international platform. It's available all over the world. It's called Yum Universe. It helped me in my journey, and I just feel honored that I get to sit here with her and really learn from her journey and have her inspiration inspire you as well. So welcome, Heather.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here and to be able to chat with your community today.
So excited to have you. So tell them a little bit about yourself, what you've been creating, and a little bit about why you're here.
So I created Yum Universe in 2009, actually a little before that, because I had to start writing and creating all the content. But I really wanted to share how to creatively enjoy vegetables, because I grew up not eating a single vegetable and I eventually got sick, and instead of taking medication, I wanted to turn it around and kind of solve the problem instead of masking symptoms. So at home, since I didn't eat vegetables, I had to creatively come up with ways to eat them. So I started first by blending them and then creating creamy sauces for vegetables and stuff like mac and cheese, but without all the junk. And I started to feel better. And it was in this big binder with spills and tears and all kinds of stuff. And I decided to turn that into a website. So now I have yumuniverse.com. There are about, I think, 600 recipes at this point for free that people can access that are made with whole food ingredients. And they also tend to be gluten-free because I'm gluten-free. So that's the kind of recipe developing I'm doing. And then that's just branched into other resources that I like to develop to try to help people along this journey, like meal plans, membership, one-off ebooks, and then I just launched a gluten-free baking academy for people who want gluten-free bread, but without all of the junky ingredients that tend to be in everything that we can find on the shelves and in recipes these days.
Oh my gosh, I love,
It's a lot.
I love it. I love how you do that, and I love, what I love about what you do is that you keep providing what your community needs. And so often, I remember I have Hashimoto's hypothyroidism, and I remember talking to you in the very beginning, and I love just how accessible your recipes are, how beautiful they are, and how it makes me feel like I'm not alone, that this community, this universe that you've built, literally, of all of these people that share the desire to eat delicious food, to feel like they're putting beautiful things in their body, and to not feel alone or isolated by the mercy of, being gluten-free or being dairy-free.
Right.
Or being plant-based. It's this genuine feeling of excitement that you have and that also your community has together. So it's really awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't want it to feel like whether it's from illness or just a choice, it can be overwhelming for people when they have to make change. And I remember what it felt like for me, and I just want to make it fun and easy and really taste good, because eating healthier shouldn't be about deprivation at all. I really believe that. And I come from that place whenever I'm creating anything. So, yeah.
I love that too, especially getting through right now. My most recent, I've come out with that. I've had emotional eating and binge eating tendencies and patterns for years, and I'm just starting to admit that. And it's really beautiful to see how your recipes are all about pleasure, and even the recipes you have down to the level of like cutting the vegetables, and you have these gorgeous photos. It's making eating fun. So there's putting emotion back into eating in a really positive way. And the desserts, everything, like I remember your beet cupcakes.
Right. I like to leave the veggies in. Yeah.
And zucchini muffins were another one that I really loved. So there's these gorgeous recipes, and I remember recipe testing from one of your very first cookbooks and just falling in love with who you are and what you provide. So yeah, I really encourage everyone to check out your work. And tell me about now this new book. What's going on with that?
The new book, I'm really excited about it. So I'm really big on not just sharing recipes. I want to give people the tools and the inspiration to start making changes on their own, because that's where the changes will stick, when you start becoming familiar with certain ingredients and how to put it all together. Just reading my recipe can give you a little inspiration, but it's really important that you become familiar with the ingredients. So when the first book came out, I developed all these recipes, and it was about the why you want to eat more vegetables and how to do it. And then there were recipes in there. But people were asking me, what do I eat on a day-to-day basis? And after a while, I realized that I was really freestyle cooking. Like I would open the fridge and I would open the pantry and I would use a couple rules that I had in my mind from recipe development, and I would throw it all together and then I'd have a meal. So I decided that, or I didn't decide, I realized that probably a lot of people want to cook that way because it's more realistic. So I created Pantry to Plate, which is based off of 30 templates for the foods that we love to eat, everything from like fries to ice cream, veggie burgers, soups, staple meals. And there's a template for each one, and you can pick and choose ingredients based on what you have, what you like, and whip up that meal. And then also there are 3 to 4 recipes for each template, where I've created something based off the template to kind of show you what's possible. So it's the best of both worlds.
And it's super easy, which...
Yeah, I tried to keep everything under 5 steps. So
it's very intuitive, and I'm all about that too. It's intuitive eating. It's, going to your pantry, and it's asking your body, what do I crave today? What do I need today? And how do I create something that isn't stressful? Because even myself, I'm just like, oh, I don't have time to cook. It's too much work. But how do you bring the pleasure back into nourishing ourselves? So it's a sacred act.
Right. And when we're busy, not compromising our health for that. So there are a couple templates in the book. For example, scrambles, which are also like a 1-pot meal. It's a way to get all the rainbow into one bowl if you've kind of missed a couple meals for the day because you're too busy,
I love that. And the scrambles are they tofu, or what are the scrambles made out of?
No tofu. I'm personally allergic to soy, so I like to create recipes with other things besides soy. So they're really 1-pot meals. There are grains in them if you want, vegetables, aromatics like onions and garlic and pepper, sauces, seasonings. There are a million different ways you can do them. So
that's I'm really glad that you shared that there's no soy as well, because I know my audience too is a lot of people with Hashimoto's and hypothyroid and thyroid and adrenal fatigue and so many different conditions where we're really limiting the allergens in our food. So that's just amazing that they can find resource in your book as well for tons of things they can eat, because usually it's like, well, what can I eat if you're telling me to eliminate this, this, and this? And then for the people that are not purely plant-based, they can add on things like eggs, add on chicken, fish, all of that as well.
And I encourage that. I like to create recipes that start with the veggies, and if you eat eggs and fish and animal protein, by all means add it. I think everybody is different with what their body needs, and I think it's really important to honor that.
I love that, and I love that you are so free to offer that as advice and guidance. Because so often it's I notice so many people with recipe books that are not 100% vegan. But they preach that to be that in their book for so their audience is happy, and I love how authentic you are, that it's really all about bio-individuality and what your body's asking you for. Again, very intuitive. So that's awesome. So you mentioned also about nourishing yourself, and earlier before we recorded, you mentioned your favorite thing to do to get back to yourself. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. No matter how spun out I get on work and emails and trying to keep up, which I know I'm not alone with that. We're all trying to keep up these days. The one thing that reliably sets me straight, there's a couple of things. Baking and cooking will do that for me, not for everybody, but for me, I find that kind of meditative and stress relieving. But going out into nature and just going for a walk and being outside, there's something tremendously grounding about that. I'll go for just a walk for a half hour or a couple hours, depending on what I feel I need. And I come back and just have a clarity that I didn't have before I left. Yeah, I was telling you, it's like nature's like my church. It just sets me straight.
That's huge. It's a beautiful self-care to have that, especially writing a book. And I'd love to hear about, I know I'm writing a book this year. I know a couple of my students are writing a book. I train teachers, so a lot of them are taking this knowledge and being really authentic about their storytelling and incorporating that into their writing. So writing a book, can you tell us, how that process, and you've written many, so that process was for you and how you stayed sane and in still the recipe testing and doing all the things that you do.
The first thing I would say is that know that there will be moments where you do not feel sane, and let them come, because you need to feel it to heal it. There will be lots of highs and lows, or at least there were for me with the 2 books that I wrote. And it's a lot of work, and there will be times where you're completely overwhelmed. And I was able to balance it out better this time, but with the first book, I was curled up on the floor a couple times, crying my eyes out, because I just felt like I couldn't get out from under it. And then the next day I would feel really great. It's a tremendous project, and you put so much of yourself into it. So for you, it will feel like there's a lot at stake. So honor the feelings that you have, and know that it's not going to be perfect. It's not always going to be happy times. It's an emotional thing, because you're pouring out yourself onto these pages. It's a lot of work. One thing that helped me this time is I made sure, I'm very type A and get into a work mode where I'll go down the rabbit hole and I can sit and work for hours at a time. It's very hard for me. Yeah, it is, because I feel like I'm in the zone, but it's really, I'm not doing my best work when I stay there, and it's really hard to break those patterns. So what I did was I gave myself a routine when I was writing this time. I did not start writing until I had gone outside and gone for a walk for at least 30 minutes to an hour. That just somehow set me straight and kept those meltdowns that I had with book 1 at bay. And then trying to just do a little bit of writing every day if you can, even if it's just 1 page, and make sure you're eating when you're hungry, and getting to bed at a decent hour, and trying to sneak in some Epsom salt baths when you can, and just really, if you have to, write down what you need to do, like the main things you need to do every day to strike that balance. I don't know if I can help with anything else. Ask me a question specifically, because I have lots of advice about it, I guess, or thoughts about it.
Definitely, we'll be tapping into that when I'm going into depths, because I hear that even for people not writing a book, getting adequate sleep and scheduling that time for self-care and whatever that church is for you, whether it's hiking, whether it's yoga, whether it's cooking, whether it's Epsom salt baths, like luxuriously take care of yourself. Otherwise, why are you doing the work, right? Like I ask myself that question sometimes when I'm up at like 1 a.m. doing emails and writing articles. It's like, why am I staying up this late? If, is it really like that critical? Can I just go to bed and take care of myself? And
you're not practicing what you preach when you do that either, when you're working yourself to death.
Yeah, exactly. So it's amazing hearing you say that and giving that advice. So thank you. Thank you for that. And I love that, and that's pretty much what the Young Universe community is all about too, right? Supporting each other in the lifestyle. And so can you tell us a little bit more about what you've created in terms of community?
Well, we do have the lifetime membership on the site, and that's where people can access meal plans and just get started with eating more veggies and feeling good about it. So there is that community component there. And then with the Gluten-Free Baking Academy, it's been incredible. Like when I was creating it, it took me almost 2 years to create it. It was just me working on it. And I thought, okay, I could reach 20 people, I could reach 200 people, but even if I reach just a couple people and help them have a decent piece of toast again, I would totally be happy. So it's launched, and so many people are excited about it, and the Facebook group has really exceeded my expectations. It's really a lovely experience. Like, it's very action-packed and busy, and people are asking questions, students are helping each other. It's really more of what I selfishly need in 2017, because 2016 I was working in a vacuum on the second book and on the course, and I need more face-to-face and interactive time with people. I realized that. So 2017 is all about connecting. So my efforts for the community aspect of Yum Universe are going to go well beyond even what they are now.
Love that. I love how you're creating for what you need as well. And I think that's what makes it so truly wonderful, because I'll go on the website and it's like what I need, because when you're creating from that place of what do I need, you're giving exactly that for reciprocation. So
Yeah. Cool.
well, let's see here. What is next for you? What is
next for me? Immediately, it's book tour stuff. So I'm planning book tour, which I'm really excited about. So in May and June, I'm going to be traveling to a handful of cities and doing some fun events like panels and restaurant takeovers and talking more about I just want to connect more in 2017. I'm going to do some more partner kind of events with other authors and other recipe developers and just kind of share those experiences with them and whoever's interested in coming. So doing that, I'm going to be working more on courses. I'm really enjoying this course that just released, and I have some other ideas for other ones I want to release. And then I'm also working on a reskin for yummuniverse.com just to make it that much more user-friendly. But that's pretty much it. And then in July, you'll be able to find me in starfish position in the backyard where I'm just like getting my groove back and relaxing. So that's kind of it.
That's all amazing. You're like, that's it. No big deal. It's so easy. No big deal. So do you have any inspiration for others that are, just starting their journey in eating in a very mindful and conscious way?
I know some people are really good at all or nothing, but I don't think that's a sustainable approach for a lot of people. I think just adding more good stuff into your routine is the best way to start, because not only can you pay attention to the details, like how your body feels when you eat that new one thing and what those ingredients are like, but you just create more of a relationship with the changes that you're making, which is important for the long haul. So just add one recipe a week or one recipe a day that you'd like to try. And then when you feel comfortable with that being in your routine, add a little more. And eventually it will compound and some of the bad stuff will work its way out. But really just one step at a time, I think, is the way to go.
Yes, absolutely. With all of life, like you can't, if your body's been sick for a while and you've had a chronic condition, it's really unrealistic to think that overnight, you can switch all of those habits and patterns, and just being compassionate with ourselves and reminding us that, there's, you might have a day off and you just eat crap, or you ate late at night, and that's okay. You just have to get back up again.
Let's get back on the wagon. Yeah. And a lot of times when you make those really drastic changes, it upturns what's going on in your body, and it can confuse your body. So you might be eating more good stuff, but feeling bad because you're used to eating bad stuff. Your body's detoxifying, and it gets confused, and then you can't really tell whether the good stuff is causing the problem or not. It's just better to take things slowly, I think.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I love that. It's beautiful advice.
Cool.
In terms of what have you learned? What has been the biggest maybe challenge in all of this, life lesson in all of this, or something that, some wisdom you can impart on a struggle that maybe doesn't have to be so hard for someone else?
A couple things. I'm a real fan of listening to instincts. They are baked into here for a reason. And the more you can listen to them, the better. And they told me years and years ago that there was a way for me to feel better that didn't involve medication. Now, there are some people who probably need medication for whatever's going on, but I think that food has tremendous power to heal. And I am constantly learning every day what I can do to feel my best. And I mean, even like this winter, I've discovered fire cider and I've started to make it, and it is an incredible force field. I'm around sick nephews and sick people, and I drink this stuff and I don't get sick. So there's just stay open to new ideas and try new things, and just listen to your instincts for sure.
I love that intuitive quality that we all possess. So, and going out into nature definitely will help us all become more intuitive and more clear. So I love
Definitely.
So how can everyone find you, stay in touch, see your book?
So both books are available wherever books are sold. So you can buy it at the mom and pop bookshop or on Amazon, whatever you like. And then I'm at Yum Universe pretty much everywhere on social. I'm most active on Instagram. And I have a newsletter on the website where I send out weekly recipes and tips. So you can sign up there if you're interested in that. And yumuniverse.com and glutenfreebakingacademy.com for the.
Ooh, which they can find on Yum Universe if they don't remember that URL.
Yes, that's true. Yep.
Okay. So everything Yum Universe.
Right.
Your Instagram is gorgeous. So
thank you.
highly recommend everyone check Heather out, and I love everything that you're doing. So big fan over here. Really honored.
Thank you. Congrats on your book. I'm excited about that.
The seeds have been planted. I'm still in the early stages as of right now, writing the proposal and figuring out all of those initial pieces, but I have the ideas in place, and the content's pretty much written. I just have to organize it. And
yep, I know all about it. Reach out if you have any questions or just need to even vent. I'm here.
Thank you, sister.
Yes,
I will. So thank you so much. You should expect to get lots of Hashimoto's and hypothyroid. Love your way from everyone that's been dying for your recipes, and thank you so much for making beautiful food accessible to so many people, so we're no longer feeling isolated or at the mercy of having to be gluten-free or autoimmune diet centric. So thank you for making that so cool again.
Yeah, it's fun and there's lots of possibilities, and that's definitely what I'm committed to, so people can find that stuff. It's not about deprivation. It's not.
It's not. And our bodies respond so well when we nourish.
So. That's true.
So thank you so much, Heather. We will all be looking forward to your books and your resources, and talk to you soon.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Woo! The video is, let's see, and dun, 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 dun. Stop recording.